marketing, when done right, should be forgotten. Could you tell us a bit more about, your thinking around that?
I think what you have to go back to what is the fundamental objective of marketing. It is to, for lack of a better term, manipulate people for business interests. And I don't use manipulate in a nefarious manner, but that is essentially what we're trying to do. And so there's a lot of intertwine between marketing and psychology, right? For those specific reasons. And so if you just think about manipulation, or persuasion, let me use a more positive, term. If you just think about those two things, they don't work when somebody knows that that's what's going on. You're not really persuaded when you are aware you are trying to be persuaded, especially if you are stubborn. The whole point of being able to manipulate someone is that they are not aware that this is what is happening. And so when you decide to do that, to persuade a group of people to change their behaviors, adjust their behaviors, or create new behaviors through all the tools that we use in marketing, they shouldn't realize that that is what has happened. And so it will be, by definition, impossible for them to remember that that is what has happened. And there are so many famous examples of this throughout history. The idea of Santa Claus and red is Coca-Cola, right? I know famously the idea of soap operas was an unintentional or intentional marketing initiative to, I guess in the 30s or 40s or whatever, basically sell more laundry to housewives, maybe not 30s, 60s, 70s, sell more laundry, detergents and things of that nature to housewives who would stay at home and watch daytime television. So you were pumping all these advertisements on these shows, and they gradually over time became, sort of soap operas. And there's so many examples littered through history. Even the idea of a luxury brand is that we now today, just call luxury. Somebody wants to sell their product at a higher price, at a price that is not justifiable. So you do all these tactics, you make it exclusive, you make it only accessible to a group of people. You do that either by pricing or by location and all these different things. So when you really think about it, when you do your job really well, the key results for a marketing campaign done well is not necessarily the key results of the marketing campaign as it were. I put out an ad and the ROI, the CAC was, the CPA was whatever, what did it do to the business? Those things, as important as they are to us, and they are important, they have leading indicators and in some cases lagging indicators of the key objective, which is, am I helping this business move from point A to point B, right? And that's kind of just what it comes down to.